And here I am, the Tuesday morning update, the 11th of September 2018. Same subject really, as it's now become a big story. Quick look, Isaac back down to tropical storm. Still expected to be at or near hurricane strength when it approaches the Leeward Islands later this week. Helene expected to turn northwestward over the eastern Atlantic. Helene currently 110 miles an hour. The future track of Helene, they have it weakening down to a tropical storm, bending to the northeast. Could be a problem for the Azores Islands later on. Zipping through these real quick, because most of the talk is going to be regarding Florence. And disturbance number one, through 5 days, the chances go up to now 60% of formation. Limited development in the short term. Upper level winds are forecast to become more conducive for development later in the week, and a tropical depression could form on Thursday or Friday while the disturbance moves across the western Gulf of Mexico. So, northeastern Mexico, the coast of Texas and Louisiana should monitor the progress of this system, because regardless of whether it develops or not, that's going to be bringing a lot of heavy rainfall to those areas. Florence. Well, they nailed it regarding the rapid intensification as far as the past 24 hours is concerned. But now Florence has decided to take a breather. Pressure's gone back up to 944 millibars. Florence moving toward the west-northwest near 13 miles an hour. So in other words, the rapid intensification has stopped, at least for the time being. A west-northwestward to northwestward motion and an increase in forward speed are expected during the next couple of days. On the forecast track, the centre of Florence will move over the southwestern Atlantic Ocean between Bermuda and the Bahamas Tuesday and Wednesday, and approach the coast of North Carolina or South Carolina on Thursday. Sustained winds near 140 with higher gusts, Cat 4. Some strengthening is expected during the next 36 hours. Florence is expected to be an extremely dangerous major hurricane through Thursday. At the moment, the hurricane force winds extend outward up to 40 miles, and the tropical storm force winds 150 miles. On the discussion, who is this time? Devon, the forecaster. Discussion number 47. Florence has been out there for a while already. The 11 p.m. Monday, September 10th discussion. The rapid intensification of Florence ended just after the last advisory, with the central pressure falling to near 939 millibars. Since that time, the eyewall convection has become a bit ragged, and the latest central pressure from the Hurricane Hunter near 944 millibars. The initial intensity will remain a possibly generous 120 knots for this advisory. Microwave imagery suggests that Florence may be starting an eyewall replacement cycle. However, the winds from the Hurricane Hunter do not clearly indicate the presence of an outer eyewall. Eyewall replacement cycles is potential bad news further down the road, because the eyewall replacement cycles go in tandem with the expansion of the wind field and the general growing in size of the hurricane. Should remain in a light shear environment and over sea surface temperatures near 29 Celsius for at least the next 48 hours. Thus, there is little other than eyewall replacement cycles to keep the hurricane from intensifying further, as indicated by all of the intensity lines. The new intensity forecast calls for continued strengthening to near Cat 5 strength, although at a slower rate than what occurred during the last 30 hours. Expected to encounter southwesterly shear near the 72-hour point, which could cause slight weakening before landfall. However, there remains high confidence that Florence will be a large and extremely dangerous hurricane. Motion 290-11. A building mid-level ridge over the northwestern Atlantic expected to steer Florence west-northwestward to northwestward with an increase in forward speed during the next 48 hours. After that time, a marked decrease in forward speed is likely, Another ridge builds over the Great Lakes to the north. The track guidance continues to show some spread. They're not tightly packed, there's not like universal agreement. ECM on the left side of the envelope and the GFS on the right side. Overall, though, the guidance has again shifted a little to the right. So 2 advisories in a row now, the track's shifted a bit to the right. And the 72.96 error points are nudged just a little to the right of the previous forecast. It's important not to focus on the exact forecast track, as average errors at days 3, 4 and 5 are about 100, 140 and 118 miles respectively. Mind you, having said that, that's not exactly useful for people like Mark Siddeth. He's got to, because in advance, before they close all the bridges and the roads and before they evacuate everybody, he's got to get into an area, set up his webcams, get them going, and then get the hell out before the hurricane arrives. Dangerous hazards will extend well away from the centre. The NOAA G4 jet will continue to conduct some optic surveillance missions over 12 hours through at least Wednesday. Radiosonde launches to collect extra data for the numerical models. The next Hurricane Hunter mission into Florence scheduled near 12Z. Key messages the same as before. A life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the coastlines of South Carolina, North Carolina and Virginia, and a storm surge watch will likely be issued for some of these areas by Tuesday morning. All interests from South Carolina into the mid-Atlantic region should ensure they have their hurricane plan in place. Life-threatening freshwater flooding is likely from a prolonged and exceptionally heavy rainfall event, which due to the slowing down of the storm after it makes landfall, which may extend inland over the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic for hundreds of miles, as Florence is expected to slow down as it approaches the coast and moves inland. Damaging hurricane-force winds are likely along portions of the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina, and a hurricane watch will likely be issued by Tuesday morning. Damaging winds could also spread well inland into portions of the Carolinas and Virginia. Large swells will continue. Max winds, they peak it out in about 36 hours time, about 155 miles an hour, which is right on the cusp of the borderline from Cat 4 to Cat 5. Forecaster Bevan and the map, the latest map. Zoom in time, I think. So currently sustained 140, movement is west-northwest at 13 miles an hour. So observe that the hurricane is still way out here. Still, even now, it is due south and due east of Bermuda. So I'm making the comment that the models might have been tightly packed recently, but with a storm that far out, the chances that they had the exact track nailed from that far out was pretty slim. Because I've got an analogy here, which is this snake-like thing here is the cone of error. So the hurricane is not a dot on a map. It's a very large moving area, and so if you imagine that this black dot with the capital M here is on a piece of string, and it can wiggle, it can go left, it can go right, and it can cover any of this cone of error here. And the uncertainty increases the further out you get, because it's further out in time, and so changes to the track and the intensity can take place. So, anywhere within that cone of error, and Also, on top of that, the entire cone itself can shift left or right. So if you factor all of that in, considering the amount of time still left to go before this thing even starts to approach the coast, then a very large chunk of the entire east coast of the US is basically at risk of getting some kind of effect from this hurricane. Because to link in with what I've just said, I then pull up this, so zoom in a bit. Now this is giving an indication of the wind field. And look how wide the cone of error is on this map. It goes all the way from Savannah down here in Georgia, all the way up beyond New York, all the way up towards Long Island. So that's a hell of an area. Now the hurricane, the purple circle in the middle is indicating the hurricane wind field, hurricane force winds sustained. So you compare the current position and you follow it through, up here, up here, up here. You can see an expansion. Okay, this purple circle up here is much larger than this purple circle down here. So the hurricane wind field is going to expand. The tropical storm wind field is going to expand. And, you know, people focus on the exact track of exactly where it's going in, which at the moment is showing somewhere around Atlantic Beach area, just due south of Cape Hatteras. But of course it can change because it's 3 days out still. So people have to prepare and people have to get ready, but just note that the exact track of this hurricane is not yet completely nailed down. There's wiggle room and for it to go left, right, changes in intensity, although they have got high confidence that it is going to be a very dangerous hurricane right through to landfall, which I think is probably about right, unless something happens, something very unusual happens that massively weakens it. But this cone of error is incredible here. It goes right inland. Right inland, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Charleston, Knoxville, Atlanta. So this hurricane is not just going to be a coastal event. It goes inland, it slows down, it starts meandering around. Huge amounts of rainfall is going to get dumped. And yeah, so that's Florence. As it stands as of right now. I'll have more updates later and leave with some music once again. See you next time. And get those hurricane plans going. And good luck. see how far inland those tropical storm force winds are expected to spread. So, okay, I'm done for real this time. Bye.